Hi, Jerry Kafitz here, and I'm doing another video on atheism, and I'm going to incorporate some creation in here. This is a response video. It's my second one. I'd only intended to do one, but Swiss Topper put a video out there that I just saw today, and it needs to be responded to. It was a very, very good video. At least in terms of style points, it was excellent. I remember when I was a ski jumper back in my college days, you know, there were style points and there were distance points, and I was never a style points kind of guy. But in terms of style points, Swiss Topper, you got some from me. Kudos to you, my friend. I don't think you got a lot of distance points, and I'm going to show you why in just a few minutes here. In addition to being a skier for many years, Nordic and Alpine, I've also been a diver all my life, a scuba diver. I'm a certified master diver. I've been diving all over the world. Now, when I go out to do a salvage dive or a recovery dive, or at least when I did in the old days, when I was young and handsome, I would come back and I would tell the person who had an object that I was searching for, or in some cases it was even unfortunately a body, I would tell them I couldn't find it. We couldn't find what we were looking for. I never really would tell them it's not there. Now, I have some friends in this area who are professional divers. They're part of the Lake County, Indiana dive team, and in my opinion, and the opinion of many, they're the best in the world. When the FBI has a must-find salvage recovery dive, a weapon or something, these are the go-to guys, and when they come back from searching a body of water, they never say we couldn't find it. Never, never, ever, ever. What they say is, here it is, or it's not there. Why? Because of how good they are and how professional they are, and because of the fact that if they couldn't find it, there's only one conclusion: it's not there. Now, when an atheist says to me or anyone else, I have never found God, therefore God does not exist, you know what that does? That presupposes all knowledge. It does. Think about it. You can't presuppose all knowledge. You can't say God's not there. What you can say is, and I will defend your right to say this all day long, you can say, I have not found God. Does that mean God is not there? No, because you don't have all knowledge. You're not omniscient. You're not omnipotent. All right? If you were, yes, you saying I have not found God would be tantamount to saying God doesn't exist. Sorry, not the case. If you have not found God, I respect that. I have found God. I have. God is as real to me as the video camera in front of me, the lights in this studio. That's how real God is to me, and more, because there's evidence to me of God in my life. God has transformed my life. I'm not the same, and there's just no arguing that for me. Can I make you believe that? No. But will I accept you telling me God doesn't exist because you haven't found Him? I will not. Why? It's a logical fallacy. Now, secondly, my friend Swiss Topper is still pretty much in the ad hominem mode here, okay? And that's okay. It's okay, because I'm used to that. I like that. But more importantly than any of those other factors, it proves my point. When a person goes ad hominem and says things which you're still saying now, Swiss Topper, you're saying, using words like loony, you're using words like fool in directing them toward me, and that's okay. I mean, I've got pretty thick skin. It's so thick that sometimes it's enjoyable for me to hear those things, but I have a hidden agenda here, you see. I use those in other areas, those comments in other areas, to make my point, to make my case. But to do that, again, just says you don't have substance. You don't have substance. Now, speaking of substance, all right, here's where I want to go. First of all, the fossils, all right? Now, all of you are saying, oh, fossils of intermediary species are everywhere. They're here, they're there, they're there. No, they're not. No, they're not. In order for evolution to be true, okay, there would have to be as many fossils of these intermediary species throughout the fossil record that covers the surface of the earth, 70% of it anyway, in sedimentary rock. There would have to be the same number of these fossils as the regular species. And what the fossil record shows is sudden emergence of fully formed life forms. What can I tell you? That's what's there. So for you to say, ah, here's one, and by some interpretation, you telling me that's an intermediary species, you know, maybe it is and maybe it isn't. It probably isn't. But you know what I got to say to that? One down and a couple of million to go. Okay, they've got to be there in the same numbers. Secondly, haven't even dealt with this, the law of entropy. The law of entropy, okay? Everything is winding down. Evolution is a winding up, all right? For one species to turn into another, there's more data, all right? There's more data that has to be there. And a wart is not more data on an organism, all right? That's just not the way it works. That's an aberration. That's what it is. Lastly, I want to talk about this, the concept of irreducible complexity. Not my invention. It was a phrase coined by Michael Behe from Lehigh University. And basically he said this, professor of biochemistry, I believe. He said this. He said, look, you take a functioning organism, okay, and reduce its complexity, okay? Take one thing away from it that it had, that evolution presupposes it did not have in an earlier version because it was evolving upward. Okay, so without that, how could it function? Right? How could a bacterium function without a flagella? You know, I don't know. That's irreducible complexity. You can't reduce the complexity, and if you do, then you violate natural laws. Okay, you violate primarily the law of natural selection. You can't just take a part out of a car and make it run better. And that is to say, you can't just say, okay, this car in its less evolved form didn't have what? And so not having that what, it was less functional, less evolved, yes. But according to natural selection, it would be the last one to survive, not the first one to survive. And let me add this now on a personal note. Okay, on a personal note, I believe, and Jesus Christ believed, because he said this to Nicodemus, okay, and again, I mean, the Bible's a whole different thing. I'm not using it to back up a scientific position. I'm using it here to tell you where my personal belief on atheism comes from. It comes from Jesus and what he said to Nicodemus. And what he indicated to Nicodemus was that nobody rejects God on the basis of an honest motive. When somebody rejects God, it's for one reason. Okay? Something happened in their life that they're bitter about, or there's something about what God demands that doesn't fit their life or their lifestyle. Right? That's what I believe is deep down at the heart of every atheist, and some of you listening to this right now are just fuming hearing me say that. But the reason that you're fuming is because there's a little teeny tiny voice inside of you just tapping you on the shoulder going, hey, that's us, he's talking about us. Okay? Now I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. And I think some of you know that. Those of you who don't really believe that you know that or would admit to that, maybe you've managed to silence that voice, and it's possible to do that. It is possible to do that. But when I was really totally honest about finding the truth, I found the truth, I found God, I developed a personal relationship with God, and it has been liberating. It's made me a new person, a better person. You know, not a slave to doctrine, not a slave to dogma. But anyway, that's my personal testimony. You can hear it on my website all day long. It's been done into a radio drama and gone all over the world. You can go there if you want, jerrykbooks.com. But I'm here to tell you, okay, Swiss Topper, you scored some great style points, you really did. But you lost on distance. I'm Jerry Kafitz.